It's October 3rd. It's pretty late in the evening already. It's 6:45. Happy opening day to everybody else out there. Or happy opening week, I guess. For the states that open on October 1st. Some of you have probably been hunting for a couple weeks if you're in Kentucky or another state that opens on the 15th or earlier. But it's been a little bit of a rodeo tonight. It's my first evening out. I had a hunch that I wouldn't be able to make it up here in time without having deer already out feeding it. That's what happened. I'm just so close to the bedding, I just couldn't get off work and get here in time. But I slipped up in here on this white oak flat off of this clear cut. And there was already a doe feeding where I wanted to be. She ended up seeing me a little bit, but I had my wind perfect. She didn't know what I was, so she started stomping, walking back and forth, blowing, and then she kept trying to get downwind of me. She couldn't get downwind of me. She ended up coming like 15 yards. I drew back on her 3 different times, just messing around. I just wanted to get practice. Just get my sights on her. Squeeze the trigger a little bit, but I wasn't planning on shooting her. It's a weeknight and I'm too far from home to mess around with a doe, so I let her go and she ended up running off. But I got a big scrape right out here in front of me, about 25 yards. Acorns are falling like crazy. There's a lot of sign in here. This is probably going to have to be a morning spot though, or you're either that or you're going to have to get in here at like 1 or 2 o'clock, because otherwise you're just so close to the bedding. They're just kind of browsing up here throughout the day. They're just getting up and browsing. It's really hard to get in here where you want to be. But it's kind of a bonus spot, so I wasn't too worried. I've never actually hunted this spot before. I scouted it last winter, found it. So I was just coming in here, and if I saw a sign, I was gonna hunt. I knew it had a lot of white oak trees in here, so I got up in here. I found a couple of scrapes, and actually found 3 scrapes of fresh rub, so they're definitely feeding in here. A bunch of deer droppings, bunch of sign, a bunch of deer feeding sign. My night's probably already over from that doe, but I'm back here now, so I might as well just sit in here and see what happens for the rest of the evening. There's a big scrape right out here in front of me. Right down in there is a big scrape. it, dude. Got a little time left here. Hopefully something bigger is coming back in behind him. There was another deer up here on this hillside that I was filming. There's two of them. I'm pretty sure the other one was a doe, though. I'm pretty sure I saw its head and it was a doe. I don't know where it went. On the walk-in, people don't realize how steep Indiana can be. I think a lot of people think of Indiana as just being flat, but this is what I came up. I don't know if it does any justice on the GoPro, but that's not easy. That's not easy. I'm getting my workout today. Stopping about halfway up here just to keep from sweating so bad. Catch my breath a little bit. Standing here looking at this. Dadgone. I knew that was gonna happen though. I knew it was basically impossible to get in here. I'm standing here looking at this shed and I scared a little spike embedded down in here in this ditch. I was hoping he wouldn't blow because it was just a spike. I was hoping he'd be dumb enough to not know what was going on, but he blew a couple times and now I can just see him up there walking around. I knew that was going to happen. I knew it was going to be really hard to hunt this at night, but he's just working off now, which is good. Hopefully he doesn't stick around and keep blowing a bunch and I can get set up. That's a good looking shed though. I wonder if I have a picture of that deer from last year. I'll have to go back and look at my camera. That's a good sign though. If he made it, he should be really nice. Another tip that I'd like to talk about while I'm standing here thinking about what to do is when I'm also hunting acorns off of bedding and I'm not sure exactly which white oaks are dropping or which red oaks are dropping, and I don't want to walk up there and look because then I'm leaving my scent around the stuff that I'm trying to shoot a deer over. So what I'll do a lot of times, I'll just stop and I'll listen and I'll wait and see if I can hear acorns dropping and which tree's dropping the most. I'll look, see where the squirrels are. Just anything that can give me more of a hint without me personally going over there and looking. Because obviously I don't want to leave any ground scent over where I expect the deer to be. Just had an encounter there with a shooter buck about 80 yards away from me there. Came right up from where I figured they'd be bedding. He was with the spike that spooked earlier. I was scrambling around trying to get the camera off of the camera arm here so I could video it. I think he might have saw me, I'm not sure. He might have saw something he didn't like. He just kind of worked back off to where he was bedded. And of course the spike came right down here too. Right here past me at about 35 yards. I haven't seen him since. Just an old warrior of a deer. I had pictures of that deer last year. He is broken up last year. He had to be at least 5.5 last year. I mean, just a ginormous bodied deer. One of the biggest bodied deer I've ever had pictures of. This year's same thing. He's got to be like 6 years old. He's just huge bodied. Ain't gonna score much though. Really massive. Don't have much time left. Probably only got about 15-20 minutes here, so maybe he'll come back, but I doubt it. I might have screwed that one up. I threw a couple grunts at him there just about a couple minutes ago in that direction, because when I had first saw him, he was rubbing or making his scrape. I could see limbs moving. And last year he's definitely a fighter. He had a bunch of broken off stuff last year, so I'd say he's the king of this area. So I don't know if he heard it or not, because I don't know where he's at, but it was worth a shot. Well, it's been a busy morning here. It's October 8th. It's already almost 9 o'clock. I haven't even done an interview yet. I've had a shooter buck here within 100 to 150 yards of me since sunrise. I slipped in here this morning. It's really calm. Had a big temperature drop, and I'm about 150 yards away from my cell cam, and I'm getting pictures of him standing underneath the scrape, so I know he's close. I tried grunting at him the one time, or grunting towards him the one time, after I got pictures of him. And then I got another picture, and I looked, and he was headed my way. So I thought it was going to happen. Then he turned around and went back. He was standing back in the scrape. I can't hunt over that scrape this morning, because my wind is just not right for it, unfortunately. So I had a feeling there'd be one in here on this scrape. So I just wanted to get in the area. And there's another from where I scouted. They usually use this trail on this bench that wraps around. So I thought he was going to come my way, but he didn't. He must have cut right back up the hill then eventually. But definitely in the ballpark, but real close, real close. I'm gonna sit in here for a while longer. Maybe he'll get back up and make another round. This has been an absolute disaster of an evening. Got all the way freaking back here and got 20 feet up in the air, and I realized that I lost my strap on the way in. I don't know how it came out of my pocket, but it must have caught on to something. It came out of my pocket. I don't have the tree stand strap for my tree stand. So I pulled everything down. Way too loud, pulling everything down than what I wanted to be. I mean, it's just been a disaster. This is the stuff that's supposed to happen on the first set. It's just been, everything is not going my way this evening, but anyway, I guess I'm just going to hunt off the ground here until it gets dark. I got some decent cover here, so we'll see what happens. so that's pretty cool. It's October 9th. It's just cracking daylight here. I'm set up. I'm on the same piece I was yesterday morning. I'm sitting over that scrape that Buck was in yesterday morning. I know there's a few good ones in the area. It's pretty brisk this morning. It's like 33 degrees, almost frost. But I didn't hunt this spot yesterday morning. I didn't run around the bend because I didn't think my wind was quite right to get in here. I wanted to wait till this morning. He was in here yesterday morning. I'm in here this morning and I do not like my thermals and what my wind's doing. They usually come right down this draw into this scrape. And my thermals are kind of sucking right back up into where they usually come from, so there's a chance that they'll wind me before I even see them. Anyways, probably a day late and $1 short, so probably should have been right here yesterday morning and this chain wrist didn't. Probably would have shot him right over this scrape, but that's bow hunting. There's a lot of decisions you gotta make. You gotta be spot on. You gotta get them within 30 yards, for me anyways. That's hard to do. As good as I can smell, hear, and use their eyes. But the one thing you got in our advantage is the fact that you only gotta be right one time. They have to be right 100% of the time or they die, so it only takes one time to be right. I'm hoping that one time that I'm right this morning. Sit in here for a few hours, see what happens. Here's my biggest creep. Great big bedding area up on top. Well, I think that's gonna wrap it up for this morning's hunt. Ended up seeing 5 does. I had 3 come in behind me, across the ditch back here behind me. I didn't know they were there until I turned around. Saw the first one at 20 yards. They got in down there a little downwind of me. That's kind of where my wind was blowing, but it was at the point in the morning to where my thermals were rising too, so they really couldn't figure out what was going on. Or they're just getting enough of me there to know that something wasn't right. They ended up turning around and going back across the ditch and up on the hillside. Stood over on the hillside over there and blew a couple times, but they don't know exactly what was going on. So nothing big show this morning. But I'm gonna have to, next time I come in here, I'm gonna have to sit over here to my left just a little bit farther so I can Should help my wind a little bit. I'm a little bit too close to the head of this ditch here. It's getting a little bit of a swirl. At least I figured that out. I didn't have to figure that out on a big buck, so I'm sure those does will be right back in here. I videoed that one there out behind George in the woods after the other three left. Bunch of does in here. There's some good bucks running around too, so probably be back in here